Check, check, check two. All right, going live for office hours. The Blackboard Collaborate session's not working again. All right, so let me email this link. In case people are looking for it. All right, so if you're here, as always, post questions in the chat or email me at the fcps.edu email if you have questions for office hours. And I'm just want to send out the link. Office hours. Okay. Email. Chat. Okay. So again, I just want to go over, any questions you have on the problems you've been working on. Any other questions about the class? But I'm not going to stay too long if no one really is showing up to ask questions. Then I'll cut it short. But remember, for AP students, we will having the kind of that practice test session tomorrow at 3. And again, if Blackboard Collaborate is not working, by then we'll still do it, but we'll just do it on YouTube, and until we get Blackboard Collaborate working again, or for the first time. I don't know. Okay. All right. So I don't know. Like, have any of you who are watching right now, has anyone like tried that link? Because the session that I have opened at 7 a.m. today and it doesn't close. I'm wondering if anyone ever got into that session. Like, if you can get into it on your end, or or is it just not working? Or is it not working on anyone's end, or whatever? I know it's working in the Blackboard classrooms, but I already switched out of that. Some teachers haven't, so it's working in the Blackboard classrooms like it hadn't before, and now, but they told us to switch out of that, and so I went ahead and did that last night, and now it's not working in the scheduler session, but it's still working on Blackboard. But I don't know. Anyway, we'll just do YouTube if you have questions. Okay. So there's only one person here, and I'm not sure. That might just be me. So I might be talking to myself. So again, if you're here, you have a question, please post it in the chat. We'll see if anyone else stops by. If you can't post in the chat, email me your question at srfox@fcps.edu, and we'll go from there. Okay. So again, just let me know if you have questions. So. All right. Okay. Hold on. Again, we're just seeing if anyone is going to show up and ask questions for this afternoon's office hours. So, again, please email me if you have questions. Okay. So just some things you should be working on. I'll just kind of talk to myself. So, like, AP kids, make sure you understand the new testing guidelines. In fact, I think that's what I'm going to go over tomorrow during your classes if no one's asking questions. I know not the majority of you, but I know a large amount of you know about the new test. When's it going to be? How it's going to be taken? But you really should be planning on how you're going to take that test. Again, it's a nice opportunity for you guys to, I don't know, do well. I think you can get yourself primed up for this test. We have, 2.5 weeks to really get into it. And so, don't, don't just use the time that we have scheduled for class. You know, come to the office hours, ask questions. You could really get yourself set up to do well on this test. And you have the opportunity to do that. So, anyway. So I guess I'll wait a little bit longer, but while we're doing it, I'll show you, I'll take you a guide on that chemistry handbook I sent out to AP Chemistry. This is kind of all the stuff that you're supposed to learn throughout this year. Obviously, that's being cut, but this will be a nice set of notes. Treat it like kind of like a textbook, I guess. It's not really a textbook, but I mean, just a set of notes that you can take with you. When you go to college, when you go to the next level, you seniors, you take Chemistry 101 again because your AP Chemistry course was cut short. Use this. It's got a lot of good information, some of my handwritten stuff, just different notes, different things to know about, things that we didn't get to this year, things like colligative properties, which you get to in Chemistry 1 if you take honors. You might not necessarily get to that if you take standard, and all the honors chemistry kids this year. You're not going to get really to colligative properties that much. We are going to talk about solutions a little bit, but I don't know about colligative properties. So, just this is good review to go through, and just kind of skip the acid equilibrium stuff and the not equilibrium. You need to know the equilibrium stuff, but skip the acid stuff, the equilibrium acid in particular stuff, and skip the electro and thermo stuff, because that's not going to be on there. Now, thermochemistry is in enthalpy, delta H, that's on there, but thermodynamics, as in delta G and delta S, that's not going to be on there. Okay, so like buffer systems, you can kind of ignore that for now. But this would be a nice review for you when you get to buffer systems at the next level of chemistry, if you end up taking it. Okay. But I would really focus on the structure stuff, IMFs, electron configurations, all that stuff. I would really focus on that because I think that's going to be heavily part of it. Because, maybe not drawing dot structures because they say you're going to be able to type your answers and things like that. But what you can do is like analyzing dot structures, shapes, hybridizations, polarity, intermolecular forces. Okay, those are things I would definitely, you can talk about resonance structures. You can talk about formal charge, all this stuff. Now, formal charge, they said they took it off. Now, also, I would really only focus on the hybridizations and shapes that go from SP to SP3. Expanded octet usually isn't on the AP exam, but good to review. But intermolecular forces. You might want to, some of the organic stuff is not necessarily the nomenclature stuff of the organic, but so not necessarily the nomenclature, like naming stuff, but just understanding the different functional groups. Like maybe not identifying that you have an alcohol, but understanding some definitions. Like know that like alcohols and esters are alcohols and ethers are can be isomers of each other's. Aldehydes and ketones can be isomers of each other. That kind of thing, and just knowing that which functional group. So if you have a hydrocarbon, like which functional groups make it make so just a hydrocarbon's nonpolar. So if it only has carbon and hydrogen, it's a nonpolar molecule. But understanding that if you add those functional groups, like if you add a chlorine, a fluorine, a bromine, and iodine, if you add an alcohol group, a carboxylic group, if you add a carbonyl group, which is your aldehyde or alkene group, if you add an amine group, that now you have a polar molecule. So if you add anything else that's not carbon and hydrogen, now all of a sudden you got a polar molecule. And then it's just knowing that does that polar molecule have London dispersion or dipole-dipole interactions, or does it have hydrogen bonding? So like alcohols, obviously alcohols have a fond bond, carboxylic acids have a fond bond, amines have a fond bond. So if you have these functional groups, your compound's polar and has hydrogen bonding. But if you just have an aldehyde or a ketone, which is the double bond O group, the carbonyl group, then you're polar, but you just have dipole-dipole interactions. You don't have hydrogen bonding. Okay, so it's like it would be organic in terms, knowing organic in terms of structure, hybridization, like these two carbons are linear with an sp hybridization, and this carbon right here is tetrahedral with an sp3 hybridization. Okay, and then also knowing in terms of IMS. Okay. Okay, so I got an email, not from a viewer. So okay. All right, so I don't think anyone's watching. It says one person's watching, and I think that might just be me. So, or just somebody just lurking on the channel. So I'm just going to give it up right now. But if you have questions, just shoot me an email. And like this would be another good part of the handbook to review: the structures of ionic solids, network covalent solids, metallic structures, alloys, the difference between interstitial and substitutional. That would all be good, I think, to just review. And then obviously the kinetics stuff, the stuff we're learning right now, the rate law stuff. Because that's kind of like the highest unit you get to, right? If you think of AP chemistry and think in terms of the College Board units, the College Board units are going, they go 1 through 7, right? Where 6 and 7 are the acid-based stuff, and then, or 6, or is it 6, 7, and 8? And then you have the electro stuff, and you have the thermodynamic stuff. All that stuff's been cut. But, so you have to focus on College Board units 1 through 5, which are, again, my units 1 through 4, and then unit 7. And so in their mind, the most advanced unit you got to would be kinetics, which is the one we're going over now, right? So that's what you might want to there's definitely going to be some kinetics questions, so I'm guessing you're going to have a reaction coordination diagram, and then you have to get the delta H from that diagram. You know what I mean? Because that's how they can tie thermochemistry, not thermodynamics, but thermochemistry, heat, right? That's how they can tie in heat, right? And maybe, I don't know. But and then once you get to what is it, page 50, you can kind of ignore the therm. That's 50, page 50, and the rest you can ignore because that's electrochemistry and the thermodynamic stuff with delta G and delta S. Okay. All right. Oops. All right. Well, we have two viewers, so there are two people here at least. Maybe one of them's me. Again, I'm only going to stay if somebody asks a question. So post it in the chat or send me an email, or we're just going to shut this thing down for right now. You know, the Blackboard Collaborate sessions aren't working again. They might be working through Blackboard, but they're not working in the newest version that they kicked off yesterday. They had teachers get ready to do it this yesterday. So we'll try again tomorrow for class. But again, if you have a question, please post it in the chat or send me an email. Check my email. Job opportunities. Nope. Okay. All right. So I don't have any new emails. I'll give it a couple. All right. Down to one viewer. Got up to two. Pretty sweet. Guess I'm not going to be a YouTuber. You know. Can I monetize this or something? Is that something? All right. Anyway, excuse me. Wrong pipe. I'll give it until 3:15, and then we will call it. All right. Um, so I guess we'll end it there. I will see second period, sixth period, and eighth period tomorrow, and then anyone who wants to come and review and do that practice exam tomorrow afternoon at 3. I hope to see some of you there. And again, feel free to ask questions, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a great rest of your day.